Here's everything to know about the Juan Soto trade.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias, and with me, as always, is my producer, Steve Granado. Steve, is anything going on?
Yeah, kinda. It's super late, and we're recording because the Yankees have made the trade official. Whew, man, it's been a day. Thanks for clicking on the show here today, guys. We're going to be chatting with Javier Reyes a little bit later on in the show. Javier Reyes is the host of Locked On Padres. A lot of today's episode is going to be a clipped up version of our live on YouTube. We went live on YouTube right after the trade was announced. So if that ever happens again, we'll be live on YouTube.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing that here today. But Stacey, of course, we're going to break it all down here for you. The trade official, done in writing, pinstripes on, medicals signed. Juan Soto is a Yankee. It's Juan Soto plus Trent Grisham to New York for Michael King, Drew Thorpe, Jhony Brito, Randy Vasquez, and Kyle Higashioka. Stacey, we've been talking for like 4 hours about this, but for the folks who are tuning in for the first time, your thoughts on the trade?
I love it. This means they're all in. I'm happy that they made a move like this. They did not like 2023. 2023 kind of lit a fire under the Yankees front office and ownership's butts. And yeah, this needed to be done. And now that I've thought about it more, because I've had more time to let it marinate, I love it. It's going to be fun watching Juan Soto in Yankee Stadium.
Oh yeah, they are very clearly all in on the 2024 Yankees. It is obvious now. There's no hearsay. There's no lip service. This is clear cut. No ifs, ands, or buts. The Yankees are all in on 2024 because they gave up a lot here. Yeah. The toughest pills to swallow are the top end, obviously. Top end here, obviously, Michael King and Drew Thorpe.
Yeah.
Drew Thorpe, top 10 prospect, had an incredible 2023. Great breaking stuff, big slider, big curveball. Michael King was looking to be a massive part of the rotation in 2024. So the Yankees clearly have more things to do. They're not done after this. There's a lot to be done. They have solved one issue. And they have created another.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, Thorpe was, again, great, high A and double A last season. Jhony Brito, obviously, we saw in the majors last season. He kind of struggled at triple A. Weirdly enough, maybe he had more success in the majors than he did in triple A last season, especially after he got set down that penultimate time or the last time, whenever it was. Randy Vasquez, we saw last season a little bit as well. He's the number 13 prospect for the Yankees. Big curveball for him, mid-90s fastball. So for Padres fans coming over here, you can be excited about the haul that you got. That's for sure. Second time Michael King has been traded, by the way, from the Marlins to the Yankees in 2017. Higgy, yeah, it stings. Final year of arbitration for Higgy, but we knew that something had to be done on the catching front, that's for sure. And Higashioka was the likeliest move. And the Padres needed another catcher, and they got it.
Yeah, Higgy's been with the Yankees is basically all he's known. So, but he's from Huntington Beach, California. So he's going back out to the West Coast. Yeah,
it's about 2 hours. About 2 hours to San Diego from Huntington Beach. Stacey, on the catching front, it looks like it's going to be Trevino and Rortvedt now, with Austin Wells, the third string, first call, first injury. Yeah. We knew Wells is likely going to stay down in all likelihood, regardless of what happened, unless, of course, like I said, there's an injury. Let's go back to the Michael King front a little bit here. That seems to be the centerpiece package. Of course, King was, a couple of days ago, was like, we don't know if we want to do this type of thing. That's how they were kind of thinking in the Yankees front office, but clearly they were okay with letting him go. Do you think that's going to sting the Yankees?
Perhaps. this makes them really have to look. They really have to do something with the rotation, because right now, we joked about it on the live, but it's Cole and cross your fingers at this point, because we don't know what we're getting from Rodon. We don't know what we're getting from Nestor either. King was going to be slotted in there somewhere, in the rotation along with Clark Schmidt. And, you also lose Brito, who stepped in there, Vasquez, who stepped in there. So I feel like they needed to get this done. And if Michael King was the way to get it done, that's just how how it goes.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair. Michael King has 2 arbitration years left, so he is good to go for 2024, good to go for 2025. That makes it a lot easier for the Padres, who were clearly trying to shed payroll here too. So they get a potentially legit number 3 starter out of this situation, possibly up to a number 2 in theory. Drew Thorpe's more of the future. You're thinking 2 years down the line for Drew Thorpe. Jhony Brito, Randy Vasquez can bring up the back end of the rotation. So they got a lot out of this. They got a lot of what they needed. They filled a lot of holes. They shed payroll. I think this is a good deal for the Padres. I think this is a good 2024 deal for the Yankees. When you were including what they gave up for Alex Verdugo and what they lost in the Rule 5 draft, they lost a lot of pitching in a span of about 30 hours.
Yeah.
A lot. Richard Fitz is gone. Mitch Spence is gone. Greg Weissert is gone. And then King, Thorpe, Brito, Vasquez, all gone in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And look, I don't want to be like rain on the parade here, because Yankees fans, you should be super stoked. You should be super stoked. Don't get me wrong there. But there's still work to be done here. This is very clearly not the last move the Yankees are going to make. They have a lot more work to do now. Just to really, they were having depth issues last season, and they just gave up all the depth.
Yeah. And that's a lot of depth.
It's a lot of pitching they just lost. I don't want to mince those words, man. They lost a lot of pitching this week. A lot. They're really, really banking on Will Warren and Clayton Beeter right now. They are Clayton Beeter is the first call. First call if you have a starting pitcher injury right now. And he barely just kind of started figuring it out at AAA the end of last season.
Yeah.
It's Yamamoto or bust right now. It has to be Yamamoto or bust.
No, it has to be. Otherwise, yay, they improved the lineup. Cool. But you decimated the pitching now.
Yeah. And that, to be fair, was what they had depth in, right?
Mm-hmm.
This was the most logical place when it comes to a Padres-Yankees trade match that they could have dealt from, because otherwise it's middle infield depth, which the Padres do not need.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the most logical thing. This is what we speculated on last week when we had Javier Reyes on then. Again, he's going to join the show here in a few minutes. Man, it's been a range of emotions for me, Stace. I'm sure it's been an even more range of emotions for you, being the resident Yankees fan in the group. But man, it's Juan Soto, New York Yankee. Crazy to even say those words. Yeah. Crazy that he's been traded twice in the last 2 years.
Yeah. Because he's one of those guys that Yankee fans coveted, they really wanted. They've wanted him for a while. And I think it's going to take a few days for people to really let it, for it to set in that, oh my God, Juan Soto's a Yankee. Holy crap. kind of a thing.
Yeah. You're adding 35 homers, 109 RBIs. Don't forget he led the Padres in walks last season with 132, and it wasn't even close. Even close. He had almost double the next guy. And to put that in perspective too, 132 walks. Aaron Judge led the Yankees last year with 88. This guy is an on-base machine. He's going to get on at a 40% clip.
Also, he's still young. I don't even know if he's hit his full, you know what I mean? Because dudes don't hit their primes usually until their later 20s, about to approach 30. So he could be even better in 2024, which is scary to think about.
Let alone the attitude he brings, right? The energy he brings. Oh my gosh, I just thought about this. Juan Soto and Oswaldo Cabrera.
Hmm. The Soto shuffle, seeing that happen. And just, he's definitely not a player who shies away from anything. Like he's not going to feel any pressure. He's really
No.
not. He's going to relish in this environment. It's going to
He
be
was
so
like
much fun.
13 playing in the World Series. Like, it's like basically, right? Like he was
Yeah.
a child playing in the
Yeah.
World Series and staring him down. Did not
Yeah.
care.
Didn't
It's
care.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh, see, now that I'm excited now. I'm like really, really excited about this. I mean, they have to
Again.
do more, but I'm excited about the Soto aspect of this. Don't get me wrong. I'm worried about the pitching, but offensively, it's going to be fun.
It is. We have more on this coming up here in a second. Again, Javier Reyes joined our live stream we did on YouTube the night of the trade on Wednesday evening. So we're going to add that in here as well. Don't forget, coming up on Friday, we still plan to chat with Michael Kay of Yes Network will be joining us to talk about all of this stuff. So hopefully he's still good to go. We still don't have anything that says otherwise. Obviously, this news could throw a wrench in the system here, so just be patient with that. We will have Michael Kay on hopefully on Friday, if not in the near future. Okay, let's step aside and we come back. Javier Reyes of Locked On Padres joins us again from our live stream from last night.
Score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you considered joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is a breeze to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and you can combine prop bets on a game into a single game parlay for even more fun and more chances to win big. The Jets are facing the Texans this week. At home, the Texans are now favored by 3.5, and the over-under has dropped to 32.5. As for the Giants, they're hosting Green Bay on Monday Night Football, and the Packers are favored by 6.5. That went up, but the over-under is still 36.5. And just so you know, your Yankees have 14-1 odds to win the 2024 World Series right now before Juan Soto. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
It's Javier Reyes, Locked On Padres, joining us.
What's up, guys? I heard a deal just happened.
Are you okay?
Okay.
You all right?
Yeah, man, hanging in there. You know, I'm about to record my own show. If anybody wants to tune in for that, I guess 12. I'll put it out right when I finish recording. Just really, it's just crazy that we're at this point. You know what I mean? From the Padres' perspective, I don't think that the deal is bad for them. I think that they got some good pitching depth. Michael King is literally named Michael King, so I'm a fan of that. And just having some flexibility. Are there issues and questions of how, why are they in the position where they need roster flexibility? Yeah, and that goes on AJ Preller, their GM, spending rather irresponsibly, I think, last offseason, all in one offseason, with knowing potentially that if things don't work out, you might have to move the best overall player aside from maybe at his best, Fernando Tatis Jr. from your team, I think is an issue. And I think it shows you how incredibly short-sighted they were. But I do think that it's good to potentially move out of this and say, you know what, we're going to get some pitching depth. We move off of Trent Grisham, who clearly just wasn't doing it as a hitter. Really good defensive outfielder. I think he'll be good over there, especially with the short porch. And maybe it signals that the Padres are going to go for someone like Jung-Hoo Lee, who's been a really highly touted prospect from the KBO League, who can be a really good defender, can be like a Luis Arraez, just bat to ball guy that the Padres might need just to give you productive hits and whatnot. So I'm not happy. I've been ranting on Twitter a little bit for the past 20 minutes, so I'm not exactly happy, but I like the deal now. I'm upset that we're here in the first place.
I get that.
No, that's completely understandable. Completely understandable.
Yeah. But then the Yankees, it feels like, a lot of, don't worry, we have the farm system coming up, and we're not going to sign Correa for 1 year, even though Volpe's not ready. We're not going to get Corey Seager. He just hit a home run in the World Series to help the Rangers win. No, we're not going to do any of that. We're not going to give Bryce Harper call or Manny Machado. But finally, it looks like they're kind of, for Yankees fans, back to being evil and hated. You know what I mean? They haven't been this hated, what it feels like, since the, dare I say, the Giancarlo Stanton trade, which might even have some similarities. Another irresponsible organization with the amount of money they spent and kind of killing their own leverage. At least the Padres had leverage here. The Marlins were like, hey, let's give a contract to a guy that won't make us better. And then also we'll only be able to trade him to one of the 3 richest teams. Good job, Miami. So that just shows you, the Padres are still, I think, in a good spot. I know that, just to get on my soapbox, a lot of media folk are going to do the thing where they say it's over. So much for that experiment. See what happens when you start spending. They will ignore teams like the Rangers. They will ignore the history of the sport. You know what I mean? They'll ignore that unless you're the Royals that one year, you got to spend. Not necessarily as much as the Padres are, but they will use this, and it is a coded way of basically mocking teams that try, is how I see it, which is my biggest issue. We literally just saw the Rangers win the World Series, and everyone was mocking them after 2022. Everyone. They had one of the worst records in the league. Guess what? They had some reinforcements come up. Maybe this is what that'll do for the Padres, and then the rest of their stars showed up, and they could absolutely be dominant. They made it to the NLCS just 2 years ago, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay. I've come to accept it, guys.
Dude, I think
you're in the acceptance phase.
I think you got a good haul, Hav. I think the Padres got a good haul here, dude. King's going to be one of your starters next year. Boom. Period. Done. You just added an arm.
Yeah.
You didn't get the closer out of it. Okay. You can go get a closer somewhere else. You can figure that out somewhere else. You got Thorpe. Dude was electric last season, man. I'm telling you, this kid was unreal last season. High A and double A. I bet you he'll be in double A. He'll be in El Paso before you know it.
Yeah. And, Higashioka, quality backup catcher. Especially for Luis Campizano, who is very, very good. One of the most underrated things that happened, I think, in the National League this last year, who I've been touting from the heavens to finally get a chance. He's a really good hitter, can work on some defense, and he's still young, though. So I think having a guy like Higashioka is good. And you're right. Like, I do like the haul. I like that you can use Michael King, although he was slightly, in my opinion, being inflated by Yankees fans. Like, he's a fine pitcher. I'm excited to have him. But the whole but you don't understand, man, Michael King. It's like, all right, we're talking about Juan Soto here, so let's calm down a little bit. And also, I think the Padres very quietly have really retooled their farm system, despite all of the trades they've made. And now you add Thorpe to that. You get some more pitching. They don't have to rush some of their top prospects, Robbie Snelling and Dylan Lesko being some of them in terms of the pitching side. Now you don't have to rush them, because as of right now, it was Darvish, Musgrove, and like Matt Waldron. You probably haven't heard of the third guy, and that's the problem. But now you have Michael King there, and potentially maybe you go take a flyer on your old friend Frankie Montas. Maybe you go out and get some other back-end starters. You just have a little bit more wiggle room, and I think that that's really important. And while that may sound like I'm going against what I said about spending, the Padres have spent. They still have Machado. They still have Tatis. They still have Bogarts. They still have Musgrove. They still have Darvish, if he's healthy and better and whatnot. You don't need a Golden State Warriors all-star team, but you do need some stars. And I think that's what the sport has shown. And they have the stars. So they don't need to just go and keep getting more. Instead, try and build smart. You have the stars, so the rest of it is about building out the edges.
Yeah, no, I agree. Brito figures to be somewhere in the 5 for you. Vasquez waiting in the wings. However that shakes out. And like you said, Higgy to kind of help out, round out your catching. Remember last week when I said you needed catching and you didn't listen to me, Javi? And look who got thrown into the deal. I told you. See, sometimes, not all the time. Locked On Everydayers know. Sometimes I know things. Just a little
it's true.
bit.
It's
but
true.
I was right about the catching front. I told you needed a catcher, and the Yankees had a catcher, and you got a catcher.
And you got one, man. You got one. Hey, look, and for the record, I think it's going to be really fun for you guys. I think that I think it's kind of cool that like the Yankees, it seems like the facade was being discovered that they hadn't really been like trying, dare I say, all that hard by Yankees historical standards, of course.
Right.
And now it's like, we did it. And I'm curious to see if this is the last move. I don't think it is for the Yankees. I don't think it is for the Padres.
They need more.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, this might end up being the most important thing that either team does. It's Juan Soto, obviously, a walk king. I think he immediately becomes, this will make Yankees fans mad, the most exciting player on that team. I know Aaron Judge is good, but personality-wise, I think Yankees fans are going to have a field day enjoying the Soto shuffle and all that stuff.
God.
I think that'll be fun.
Tweet?
No, I haven't. The Juan Soto?
Yeah. We've been live, so I haven't been on Twitter. Juan Soto appears headed to Yankees.
Just well done. Well done.
Bravo
the
Yankees.
The memeage by the Yankees.
They've been waiting all day to tweet about this. So
yeah, right.
Shout out Yankees social.
I've had some things in the drafts too. Don't get me wrong. We all have. You know what I mean? That's
poor,
what happens.
Poor Heyman.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but hey, I mean, Eduardo Rodriguez just signed. You have this move for every baseball fan. Kimbrel to the Orioles earlier today. Like every baseball fan, I think everyone's just excited that the ball is finally rolling. And thankfully, and while I think that there's been a lot of silly Ohtani discourse for the large part over the last 24 hours, which we won't have to get into, I think that maybe, and this is just not usually the case, we might actually have things happen. You know, we're not going to have to wait until catcher's reporting to hear about when the best player signs or is traded. So it's really exciting. But yeah, it's crazy. I think that the Padres fans are going to be sad. I'm very sad for sure, but all things considered, I think they made out well. And I'm very curious to hear New York sports talk radio, the East Coast freaking out. What are they going to do next? This and that. And hey, maybe they got threatened by the Mets. Maybe they were like, no, I don't like this. I don't like that they get all the headlines. We need to earn we own this town, you know, so let's act like it. So really excited to see how it plans out. I know this is not it for both teams, and I think that makes it even more exciting. Hey, we started from the Padres want 8 players. They're being unrealistic, and now they're going to, what is it, the scouting dinner or whatever, and they might send them to the Blue Jays. Well, it happened, and that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. So I'm gonna go record my show, and
we're gonna do ours too.
Yeah, I hope you guys have a fun next bunch of hours, because I know a lot of people in New York. Dare I say, the most exciting
you'll like
thing.
that. You like that,
the Cash God. The Cash God. Oh, literally, this guy's name is Cash. So shouts to that. Brian Cash God is back. Dare I say, the most exciting thing for New York sports since like the Liberty, where the WNBA finals. Literally, like this just been Giants, Jets, Mets, Yankees. Tough year, man. You know what I mean? They had the Liberty, and then I guess the Knicks a little bit, but whatever. Just tough times. So as someone who's also living in the metropolitan area, I don't know. I do take some joy from other people's joy. Certain ones I don't. But I think the Yankees fans shouldn't sleep on Grisham either. That's the last thing I want to say. He has power. He's really weird with his swing. He's going to have moments in the outfield where he will sprint faster than you've ever seen anyone sprint to get a ball, but then mysteriously forget how to catch the ball. But other than that, it's like he could go from San Diego to where I am in New Jersey that fast, but then he won't make the catch for some reason. You know what I mean? Like, he has everything, but I kind of like it. And, you know, Harrison Bader, he could be just like Harrison Bader as a fourth outfielder. I like it. I think that this is a really strong move for the Yankees, and they're not done. And, he's only there for a year. Man, how much y'all worth? $7 billion? You could figure it out if you want to. You know what I mean? They can figure it out if they want to. I don't want to hear that. And if he's great there, which I'm sure he will be, I think Soto will like the bright lights in New York. And he has a winning pedigree. He won with the Nationals. So he's not going to be shying away from that stuff. And maybe he'll love it there and he'll stay. And you have Judge and Soto just being an absolute nightmare wagon for everybody, frankly. So congratulations.
Yeah, let alone we already know he looks fine in pinstripes. Like, it's a good look on him. So he's cool with that.
There you go. But guys, hope you had fun. Shouts to all of your friends in the chat. Hope y'all are doing good. You know what I mean?
Shouts to all your friends in the chat.
All your pals, you know, all the people watching or whatever. And yeah, if you want to hear my full thoughts for whatever reason, I will be recording my podcast now. It should be up soon. So stay tuned for that.
It's a long night, dude. Thank you for hanging out with us, man.
Yeah, for sure. We just recorded like last week, so I figured why not step back.
Yeah, like I just saw you. I just talked to you.
Exactly.
I've had enough Javi already. I'm good.
Well, on that note, I'm peacing out. Take care, guys.
All right, man. See ya.
Bye.
Locked On Red saying, "Hey, about time to see the Yankees do something that makes them slightly more hateable." That's exactly
I agree.
what happened.
That's exactly what I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted. I said this in a show. Either was it last week? I think I said that I want the Yankees to be hated again. I do, because I'm sick of people making fun of them for not being good. It's like, no. I want them to do things that are going to make everyone hate them again. I want them to be the evil empire. And this is step one.
This one from Joshua Loinian. I hope I'm saying that right. They can trade Torres to get pitching. I don't know if they're going to do that, man. If they're going all in, you don't want to get rid of your best bat from last season.
Yeah, really. This Torres was the best. He was one of their regular guys last year. He was one of the only guys that no one really complained about offensively. Yes, there were brain blocks defensively and occasionally on the bases, but offensively, he was pretty steady. And no, you don't want to get rid of that.
No, absolutely not. I don't think. I mean, they'd listen, obviously, because it's
Sure.
one year left. But I mean, this also shows that, like, hey, you're all in this season, so like, it's more trading the guys that aren't going to be a part of the picture next season.
Right.
Dude, this feels like all in. Because if you don't get Soto to sign and you don't do something, if you have a 2023 Padres in 2024 as the Yankees, oh boy, it has to work. It has to work. Can they fix a rotation of free agency with just Yamamoto? They need more.
Yeah, they need more.
They lost all their depth. They lost Richard Fitz. They lost Jhony Brito. They lost Randy Vasquez. They lost Michael King. They have Warren and Beater. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's Juan Soto, and it's Juan Soto in Yankee Stadium. And we've seen him hit home runs in Yankee Stadium, and it's going to be fun when he does it with
He had
Yankees
35
pinstripe
last
on.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hit 35. Thank you guys again for checking us out, man, especially if you're here for the first time. What a day. What a day.
It's a long day. Long day waiting for this to happen.
Here are the starters on the Yankees 40-man right now. Clark Schmidt, Carlos Rodon. Crook can start. He didn't start at all last year, really, but he can start. Yoendrys Gomez, Luis Gil, who's coming off injury, Nestor, Cole, Beater.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is it.
So yeah, they definitely need more in the rotation because as much as I hate to say this, we really don't know what we're going to get from Rodon. We really don't.
You don't. You can't 100% trust that right now.
Which is not a great feeling because, we were kind of hopeful when they got him. It's like, oh, cool. We got like a legit 2 behind Cole. That's going to be awesome. And then, so yeah, they need Yamamoto.
You got to, and you're banking that Schmidt's also going to still throw like 160 innings.
Yeah.
Which he can. He just did.
Yeah. He's still napping though, because he's still very tired from his 2023 season. If you're not a regular, that was a joke we had at the end of the season because he never pitched that many innings. And in his life, I said that he needed to take a very long nap in the offseason, and he probably did.
Many thanks to Javier Reyes for joining us in our live stream last night. And of course, you also heard some clips from that live stream as well. It was fun, man. We were on live for about an hour answering questions and all that bunch of stuff. If you're curious, by the way, on the audio side especially, there's a link to our YouTube channel in the episode description. So if you want to go watch that full thing, we had a full 1 hour answering questions and hanging out with fans and chatting it up. So if you want to go check that out, go check it out. And again, don't forget, coming up on Friday, Michael K is going to be joining us to talk all about this stuff. What a crazy week, Stace. Like, are you catching your breath yet? Or are you still out of it?
I'm still out of it. And it's not even like it was a crazy week in one night.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Because nothing had really happened.
Nothing had happened. So like it felt like a week's worth of stuff happened in a span of like 10 minutes. Like, it was just really, it's a lot. Yeah. But again, as I said earlier, I'm excited about Soto. This is going to be fun.
It is going to be wild. It's going to be a wild ride in 24. I don't think we're going to do that making the case for Kevin Kiermaier anymore.
No, got to shelve that one.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think that's going to happen either.
I think we could delete that from our notes.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing we didn't record it early like we were supposed to, because we were gonna record that, and then we were like, let's put that off. Let's. So
let's hold on.
Oy.
That ended up being the right call. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us today again. Michael K on the show tomorrow. We'll be talking about this for a while. We're going to do kind of some roster stuff next week, lineup stuff with Verdugo, Soto, how it all shakes out. Obviously, we kind of talked about it a little bit too, but we'll kind of go full in depth and break that all down next week. But make sure to hit subscribe. And that's going to do it for this episode of Locked On Yankees. I'm Steve Granato.
And I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. We'll see you tomorrow.